All guests on ZASLOW Show 2.0 brought to us by the official beer of the program, Johnny Cuba, European roots with that Caribbean soul, a refreshing German lager in a can. Pick up a six-pack of Johnny Cuba, your local Sedanos, Presidente, Winn-Dixie. If you need to find where you can get Johnny near where you live, johnnycuba.us. You got the Johnny locator there. You pick up a six-pack before the Panthers and Lightning tonight. How else are we going to enjoy the game? Make sure you drink responsibly. And, of course, don't forget Johnny Cuba's mantra, stay tranquilo. Always good to check in with our pal Jessica Blaylock, Bally Sports, obviously doing the first round. And, then hopefully the Panthers advance. She'll just be watching like a fan like the rest of us. But, Jess, great having you on as always. What a fantastic start to what we are hoping is another long Stanley Cup playoff run.
Yeah, I'm pumped. Panthers up 2-0 right now, taking care of home ice, and two really exciting games, right? 3-2, decided by one goal, decided in overtime the other night in game 2. It's been, even though it's only been 2 games so far, I feel like it's already been an emotional, an exhausting series. Just the way that you care so much about getting past the Lightning in the first round, even though it's only been 2 games, I feel like Panther fans, the broadcast, I feel like we've all already invested so much emotionally into this series, and I am just happy to currently be able to say the Panthers are leading it 2-0.
So how do you experience overtime? Because you're working, you're watching from the desk, right there at center ice in Amerant Bank Arena. How do you experience overtime?
I experience it from the desk at center ice as a bundle of nerves. And just, I joked the other night before the start of overtime, the more stressed out I get, the less notes I take, because I'm just so locked into the game and watching what's going on. And I know you and I have joked about this before, when you're watching a game from home, right? The more stressed out you get, the closer you move to the TV.
Everybody knows that.
When I'm working, my version of moving closer to the TV is I just stop taking notes, because I can't harness the energy in any other way than to just focus completely on the game, because you are so locked into every single pass, every single shot, every single block. And so I am watching from our position at center ice on the desk, but just like everybody else, right? As just this bundle of nervous energy that you're trying so hard to will the Panthers to a win with how much you care. So it would probably be really funny if somehow we were able to keep a little camera on me and show it in the corner of the TV or something, because oh my goodness, I joked about it before and I'll say it again. I have no doubt that in some capacity, watching overtime playoff games, watching 1-goal games in the third period has definitely at some point taken at least a few years off of my life.
Well, and they did that for you, right? They had a camera on you in overtime of Game 7 against Boston, right?
Yes, because all of my crew know how emotionally invested I get in the teams that I cover. And yeah, this is actually great. My hockey producer for the games, his profile picture of me in his phone is literally me like this, watching, like hands to my mouth, like stressed out, watching the TV. And you can just tell how incredibly nervous and just a mess I am in that moment. But
it's so good though. I'm the same way. It's my drugs. It's my drugs. I love the anxiety. I love how it feels during it all. Now, granted, especially when it comes to the Panthers, it's worked out most of the time by the end, and then I get to relax for that moment. And then I get to sit back down on the couch after Tuesday and I go, okay, 14 more times.
Yeah. It's so funny when we went off the air the other night, because game 2 obviously was a 7:30 puck drop. goes into OT and everybody knows you don't play the 3-on-3 overtime. Like, you're playing a full overtime. So you're doing a full intermission report before the start of overtime. So the game just obviously takes a little bit longer. So we didn't get off the air, I think, on Tuesday night till almost 11:45. So I walked in the door after midnight. And even though I was so, in a way, exhausted because of just how much you poured into that game, I could not fall asleep until like 3 o'clock in the morning because I was just I was exhausted emotionally, but I was so worked up because the Panthers won that game. So it's just so much fun, right? It's just so much fun. And it just shows again how lucky we've been with the Florida Panthers, the way that they have been built, what Bill Zito has done, what Paul Maurice has done as a head coach, the commitment by the Violas to spend money and get the right players in here. I mean, we've been treated to this for a while now, and it's a blast. There's nothing like playoff hockey.
There's a great shot behind the goal right before Carter Verhaeghe scores, where you have, the Panthers, cameraman, and he's at like the top of the steps in the lower level. And when Verhaeghe gets the puck on the left side of the goalie, the crowd all rises together. They all get out of their seat at the same time. And then a split second later, Verhaeghe scores and they all jump up. Like, it's such a cool shot.
Yeah. And I even pointed this out in the post-game show the other night when we were showing that Verhaeghe goal. I literally said to Chick, I said, look at the fans already standing up and essentially cheering, because we were just talking about how Carter Verhaeghe has been such a clutch player for the Panthers, not only in the regular season with all of his third period goals, but just the number of overtime goals that he has for the Florida Panthers in the playoffs, leads the franchise in that category. I think it's 6 overtime winners. And so it's almost like as soon as the puck was on Verhaeghe's stick, you knew, right? Like, you knew something special was about to happen. And it's almost like the fans could sense it too. And so, yeah, it was just such an incredible moment and such a cool vantage point, all the different camera angles that they had, all the different shots they had of that. And just once again, Captain Clutch coming through for the Florida Panthers in OT.
It was a classic game. How about just altogether, how great the crowd has been?
Oh, it's been amazing. It's been amazing. Over 19,000, not only at capacity, but I think a little oversold, which has been incredible. And I'm so glad to see it, because I think not only this season, but I think for a while now, Panther fans have been defeating that perception that, South Florida isn't a hockey town and Panthers, don't have as many fans as other organizations. That is such BS. And I am so glad, to see the way that Panther fans are starting to get a lot of, not necessarily from other fan bases, specifically calling out the Toronto Maple Leafs fan base in particular, who love to always chime in on everything Florida Panther related. But, national media starting to recognize, I know ESPN on some of their intermission reports, not only in the playoffs, but in the regular season, TNT as well, have given Panther fans a ton of credit. And it's been amazing. It's been so much fun. Players talk about it all the time, how they feed off the energy, how they feed off the atmosphere. Paul Maurice has mentioned it so many times, the way the fans have showed up, and, hearing the Bobby chants in the middle of his post.
It's so great. It's awesome. I'm right at the center of it too, Jess, but like, it's so great how we've all done such a 180 with Bobrovsky. He's the man. He's the man. And like, all right, even if he were to go out and have a bad game, it's all right. Okay. Like, he's not going to be perfect every game. We are so far past the point now of anyone questioning him being the guy or not. That's our guy.
Oh yeah. Without a doubt. And I'm telling you, that save on Matt Dumba the other night, Bobrovsky can say it was luck. I mean, he's so humble, and I know every time he's talked about it, he's downplayed that save. Zaz, that might be the best save I've ever seen in my life. Like this is my 9th year of covering hockey. I started watching hockey just as a fan back in 2013. I still have no words to put that save into perspective. And maybe, sure, okay, if we want to say maybe a little bit of luck was involved and follow suit of what Bobrovsky is saying about the save, fine. But at the end of the day, to stay committed to the play, to lay your body out there on the line, just speaks volumes of the type of player Bobrovsky is and his mindset and the athleticism. And the athleticism comes from the work that he puts in and day out. It was unbelievable. And I will never, ever, ever forget that save or what I felt in that moment, thinking that was a surefire goal for Tampa, right? Surefire goal. There's no way that puck's not going in the back of the net with how wide open the net was. And Bobrovsky coming across and somehow making that save. It's just all of it. It's just still incredible.
Jess, how do we catch you tonight?
So we will have a pregame show on Bally Sports starting at 6:30, puck drop at 7. We'll continue to have full pregame, postgame, and game coverage for you all throughout the first round of the playoffs.
Jess, excellent job. Have a lot of fun tonight.
Thank you.
It's such a great opportunity for the team tonight. I'm going to be counting down the hours all day long. I'm so pumped up. You see right there over my shoulder, I got Tkachuk after he scores the game-winning goal in Game 4 against Carolina right there.
One of my favorite sellies of all time. Just the skating to the crowd, the almost gladiator, like, are you not entertained? Yeah, like just the whole thing. Yeah. Good stuff.
It's going to be a great night. It's going to be a great night. We'll talk again. We're hoping this is obviously going to be a really long run again in the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's off to a really great start. Great job, Jess. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
All right. Thanks, Daz. Anytime.